If you are watching this video, chances are that, like me, you are also a fan of strange, unusual, and creepy forms of entertainment. I have been a fan of tales with a surprising twist, an element of the paranormal or the unknown, and things that are just a little off from the norm ever since I was a little girl. I absolutely love Black Mirror, specifically the anthology style, and how I never know what the next episode could be, from the unsettling to those episodes that sent a chill down my spine. One of my favorite shows of all time would have to be The Twilight Zone, the original, the 80s reboot, and I also liked the most recent reboot hosted by Jordan Peele in 2019. So I was pleasantly surprised to find a vast amount of content on YouTube for free that reminds me of my favorite shows. I am talking about the world of horror shorts found on YouTube. In this video, I'm going to be discussing 7 of the best horror shorts that I have watched recently. These are the ones that stuck with me long after the movie's short runtime, and I would recommend all of them to those of you who enjoy that sort of thing. These aren't exactly in any sort of order, but I am saving the most unsettling one for last. And while I do recommend that one, be warned that it is very unsettling and may not be suitable for all audiences. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Number 1. The Hole. The short horror film, The Hole, follows Jack, who is invited to a family dinner by his estranged best friend Anthony. Upon arrival, Jack finds the house empty except for Anthony, whose behavior is unusually erratic. Anthony eventually reveals the true reason for the invitation. A mysterious, unfillable hole has appeared in his backyard. He confesses that his wife, Sarah, and daughter Jess have been trapped in the hole for 3 months after he made a mistake and couldn't stop them from entering. Anthony explains he tried to get others to go into the hole, but it didn't feel right. He pleads with Jack to enter the hole because he believes Jack can fix the situation. Also, the hole has gotten bigger, but at this point in time, it still wasn't big enough for Anthony to fit into, as he's a relatively big man. Things really get strange when Jack agrees to take a chance and go into the hole. The rest of the film is reminiscent of an episode of The Twilight Zone, with a bizarre turn of events after Jack emerges on the other side of the hole. I won't spoil the ending for you, but if you like movies that take you on a journey into the unknown, then I think you should give this one a watch. Number 2. Moonstruck. The short horror film Moonstruck depicts a family's struggle during a mysterious lunar anomaly. The story begins with Liz looking for her husband Rod after hearing an emergency broadcast system issue a severe warning: do not look at the moon. The alert advises everyone to stay indoors, draw curtains, and avoid looking at any reflections that might show the sky. Liz tries to keep her young daughter, Miranda, from looking at the moon, repeatedly asking if her eyes are closed and if she looked at it. Meanwhile, news reports confirm that those affected by the lunar anomaly are exhibiting strange behaviors. The tension continues to build as Liz carefully searches their home in the dark, making sure to avoid setting her eyes on the night sky. Liz eventually finds Rod, who seems to be already affected, urging her and Miranda to look at the moon, claiming it's beautiful and will make them happy. He tries to force Liz to look, telling her she'll understand once she sees it, and when he turns around to face her, his eyes are eerily glowing and almost resemble 2 shining moons where his eyes should be. The film reminded me of the Netflix film Bird Box, in the way that people seem to be entranced and changed in an instant upon looking at the sky. The realistic-sounding news reports and emergency alerts added to the suspense and the urgency of the situation, making it a very creepy and unsettling film. What could possibly be happening to cause such a radical shift in human behavior? I will let you find out for yourselves if you decide to give this movie a shot. I liked the idea of the moon being the focal point of behavioral changes because of the history of the belief that the phases of the moon do have an effect on human beings. It is even where we get the term lunatic, so that instantly caught my attention and curiosity. If you like science fiction or horror, I recommend you check out Moonstruck. But remember, whatever you do, do not look at the moon. Number 3, OI. The horror short OI, or Original Idea, unfolds as a seemingly arrogant businessman named Chris enters a bar, celebrating his engagement and a major deal that just went through for him, and he's in the mood to celebrate. He approaches Barry, who has been at the bar for 3 days from opening until close, and not talking or interacting with anyone, according to the bartender. Chris decides to approach Barry and buys him a drink, and asking Barry to celebrate with him. Barry apologizes, but says he's had a rough couple of months and wasn't really in the mood to celebrate. Chris, confident he can solve any problem, makes a bet with Barry. If he can fix Barry's issue, Barry celebrates with him. If not, Chris pays for his drinks for a week. Reluctantly, Barry agrees to tell him about his problem, but wants him in advance that it is a dangerous story. Chris doesn't seem to be fazed by this, so Barry begins to tell a bizarre tale of the events of the last few months. Without giving too much away, let's just say that Barry had this amazing idea, an idea so amazing that it blows the minds of whoever hears it. Literally. He begins by recounting how his wife was the first victim of his idea, and immediately after hearing it, her head explodes right before his eyes and she falls to the ground, obviously dead. The police then interrogated him, but the autopsy revealed no physical force leading them to believe his insane story. However, the CIA soon became involved, forcing Barry to repeat his idea to multiple people, all of whom met the same gruesome end. Barry explains his theory that human beings cannot handle an original idea because they have nothing to compare it against, leading to a fatal, infinite loop cycle in the brain. This is one of the best short films I've ever seen. The acting is on point with a fair amount of dark humor mixed with a terrifying story of misfortune that has been Barry's life for months. If you like dark humor and a good twist that catches you off guard, then I think you would enjoy this brilliant film. Will Chris and the bartender be able to handle hearing this original idea, or will they meet the same fate as all the others who heard it before them? Go watch OI and find out. It really was a refreshingly unique story that I liked so much that I had to watch it a second time right away. Number 4, The Armoire, 2017. In this film, we are introduced to Emma, an aspiring actress from Australia, who moves to Los Angeles to pursue her career. In one of the first scenes, she is talking with her mom on the phone and asking for money, so it's clear she needs to find a cheap way to furnish her new empty apartment. While out looking for bargains, she comes across a discarded, sturdy-looking armoire in a parking lot, left near a dumpster and taped shut with a lot of duct tape. She decides to take it home. After bringing the armoire into her home, Emma begins to feel like she's no longer alone. She feels unsettled and hears bizarre noises, and the overall vibe is that something is in her apartment with her, something that came with the armoire. The atmosphere becomes so heavy and unsettling, leading up to the entity eventually revealing itself to Emma in a horrific scene that literally made me cover my eyes. I don't want to ruin the ending, so I'll just say that the entity that begins haunting Emma is truly terrifying, with a distinct sound associated with it that stands out as one of the creepiest aspects of the film. By the end of the film, it is easy to understand why a perfectly good piece of furniture was abandoned by a dumpster. This film is relatable, as it delves into the feeling we get when we think we are being watched by someone or something that we cannot see, but we can feel. That innate fear of something lurking in the darkness and waiting to strike when we least expect it. Check out the armoire, if you dare. Number 5. Laboratory conditions. The film begins with a low-tense, dramatic music, hushed-up voices, and dim-lit setting, all conjuring up an atmosphere of mystery. Dr. Emma Holloway, played by Marisa Tomei, is in search of her missing deceased patient. She notices an oddly behaving ambulance and follows it, which leads her to a huge laboratory where an experiment is to be carried out on the stolen patient, still alive but barely, under highly regulated and monitored conditions. All this is under the supervision of a scientist, Marjorie Kane, played by Minnie Driver. She, along with Robbins, played by Paulo Costanzo, and a bunch of others, wishes to determine the exact moment when the soul leaves the body. Dr. Holloway protests what Dr. Kane and her team are doing, that Lockwood and his family have not given their consent for his body to be used in whatever experiment Dr. Kane is doing. Dr. Kane goes ahead with the experiment with Dr. Holloway, an unwilling spectator. Dr. Holloway ends up seeing rather more than anyone had anticipated and comes to realize that Dr. Kane's experiment has opened up a portal for forces from another, more demonic dimension to come to Earth. This is an exceptional short film with a star-studded cast. The underlying theme brings to light questions that humans have had since the beginning of time, like what happens at the point of death. Do we have a soul? And if so, does it literally leave the body when a person dies? The film builds suspense as we watch the events unfold and sense the deep desire for answers that Dr. Kane possesses, as well as the empathy of Dr. Holloway as she is concerned with the patient and his needs more than the results of an experiment. The creepiness ramps up in the final scenes. Will they see the soul leave the body? Will Dr. Kane find the answers she's so desperately searching for? If you like a good sci-fi thriller, I highly recommend watching Laboratory Conditions. The acting is superb and the story is quite interesting and thought-provoking. I was surprised that such a short movie packed such a punch. It is definitely worth a watch. Number 6. Control Z. This film begins with a young man named Ed and his friend Carrie sitting at a table, locked in a bizarre, mundane conversation. It's clear that they are good friends as they seem to know each other very well, like childhood friends who remained friends in adulthood. As they sit and chat, Ed starts talking about his newest toy, a strange box-like object with a button on the side. Initially feigning interest, Carrie learns Ed's new invention creates a save point in time. Bewildered about its purpose, Carrie badgers Ed until he explains how it operates, which manages to also go over Carrie's understanding until Ed finally chooses to demonstrate how it actually functions. By ending his time on Earth via a sharp object on the table, much to the shock of the restaurant's patrons and their waitress. But thanks to the machine's intent, Ed pops back up alive, but from the point he first initiated the save, or in other words, time shifts back to the moment he pushed the button on the device. Carrie and the restaurant patrons carry on as if nothing has happened, so they don't remember the dark scene of him with the knife. It is a sort of time machine in a sense, as at the point of death, he and everyone around him are transported back to the moment where he pushed the save button, much like resetting a video game when your character dies. There is a darkly comedic tone to this film that fits nicely with the bizarre concept as we learn more about Ed and his device. I was glued to the screen from the start and really enjoyed the crazy journey the story took me on. We learn that Ed has been using this device in a way that reminded me of the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. A beautiful woman walks into the restaurant and he explains to Carrie that she is the woman of his dreams, and he has been trying and failing to ask her out many, many times thanks to his reset button. This was such a unique story that gives Black Mirror vibes with plenty of twists you won't see coming. The actors are excellent and hilarious to watch as this story unfolds. The best part, though, might be the insane ending, which of course I won't spoil for you. If you want a fun little escape into an alternate universe for a moment, then I recommend watching this film. You won't be disappointed. Number 7, The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. The Strange Thing About the Johnsons is a 2011 American short psychological horror film written and directed by Ari Aster. The film stars Billy Mayo, Brandon Greenhouse, and Angela Bullock as members of a suburban family in which the father is trapped in a one-sided, incestuous relationship with his abusive son. Yes, you heard that right. It is not for the faint-hearted, and it has to be one of the most unsettling films I have ever seen. The short was Aster's thesis film while studying at the AFI Conservatory, and later screened at film festivals in 2011, premiering at the Slamdance Film Festival in Utah on January 22nd, before it leaked online in November and went viral. Through the lens of SA, the film explores the underbelly of neat, manicured suburbia, power dynamics, victimhood, and the nature of complicity. It is a film that explores some very heavy topics, but does it in a unique way that I have never seen before. As unsettling as the film is, the acting is excellent, and the film is scary in a different sort of way. It's scary to me because although this story is not a true one, there are many stories of abuse that are similar, and this film forces you to face the horror that victims endure in real-life situations. This is not a film I would want to watch again. However, that doesn't mean I don't think it was a good movie. It was truly terrifying, thought-provoking, and much deeper than I thought it would be. The dark tone is fitting for the subject matter, which sadly is a part of the lives of victims every day in the real world. This film is definitely not for everyone, so please be aware before you decide to watch it. It is definitely a movie you won't soon forget. Thanks for taking this journey with me through this creepy world of horror shorts. All of these films are free to watch on YouTube. I'll include links in the description. So have you seen any of these films? If so, which one was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section. If you have any suggestions on more horror shorts, I'd love to hear them as well. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel, Weird Wild Stories, where I dive into true crime cases, creepy mysteries, strange occurrences, and more. Until next time, please stay safe out there, and as always, stay curious.